G'day guys and girls, how you going? It's your boy Jaybull 1990, and before this video starts, I know you guys have a bunch of questions. I need to answer some and just say something very quickly. I wanted to just say, first of all, thank you so much for all the positive feedback you guys have been giving me lately. It's been absolutely amazing. This video is going to be something a little bit different. I'm going to be recording a little bit of Black Ops 2 gameplay. That's why you can see a bit of cinematic of Call of Duty right now. And I'm going to be going back to a series that I used to do called High School Stories, except this time I'm changing it and I'm going to be making it called Real Life Stories. This story is about a haunted house that me and a bunch of friends went to, a real haunted house in my town that I live in still right now, that I went to when I was a teenager. But before I do, I just wanted to say that if you guys haven't seen any of my old stuff before, maybe you should go check it out. I'll put some annotations up on screen right now of some old high school stories that I used to do, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's just something a little bit different, something a little bit fun, where I take you guys back through time and give you guys a bit of a story about what I used to get up to when I was young and what it was like back then, back in the olden days. So, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you can, just please leave it a like. The gameplay isn't that good. It's on PC, as you guys will see at the end of the video. I only just started. This is like my third game, trying to do some sniping. I do pretty good, but let's get right on into it. So, guys, back when I was in high school, I'm pretty sure, I'm going to get into this storyline in just a second, but I'm pretty sure it was either when I was 13 or when I was 14, I just started high school. Now, me and a bunch of friends had heard this rumor. I still don't know where from. We heard this rumor that there's a hill. If I look out my window right now, where I live, actually, I can pretty much spot it. Where we live is very rural, and what that means is that there's a lot of farms, and there's a lot of hills, and there's a lot of really old houses out here. We heard a rumor, probably made up from someone just being a troll, that somewhere up in this hill was this haunted house that was haunted, and the owner of the old house was still living. It was, the ghost was haunting that house. Now, you might think, well, what's the reason? Why would you go up there and check that out? Well, thinking back on it now, I believed it as a kid, as a teenager, but now, the rumor was that there was a stash of fireworks in the old farmer's shed, and we wanted that. We wanted that so bad. So, thinking back on it now, yes, we were idiots, but guys, times were very different back in the olden days. So, me and about 15 other friends wanted this massive share in this secret firework loot. I am not making this up, guys, either. This would be way too hard for me to make up. So one day, it was right after high school, we all planned this out so intricately. There was about 15 of us, maybe 17 or odd, maybe even more. We planned on going up to this farmhouse and breaking into this shed that was just going to be packed with fireworks and absolutely amazing stuff, and steal it all and keep it all for ourselves. There was also another rumor of down the bottom of that hill was another farmer who was still alive at that current time that owned the property that this haunted house was on. So we heard about the story, which was actually true, by the way. Out of everything of this story, the owner did kill himself, but we don't really know how. We were told certain things, but we don't really know how. Anyway, so about 15 of us approached this hill. It was massive too, and about 3 of our friends were actually so scared that they didn't want to go up the hill. They said that they were going to stay down and keep watch. Us being teenagers and kids, of course, made fun of these guys and called them names and called them girls and pussies and all that kind of stuff. And we continued up this hill. It took probably about an hour to get up this hill, and it was quite a trek. I was more exhausted than anything. By the time we got up this hill, this house was old, and I'm talking old. And it was pretty scary. Anyway, we found this shed. There was a shed. There was actually quite a few sheds. And they were actually all completely chained and boarded up. Now, at this point, you can imagine 15 odd teenagers, probably about 13, giving our friends who stayed down the hill, were actually petrified out of our minds. Because this haunted house that everybody had talked to, apparently to us, seemed very real. The house itself was boarded up with chains across the doors to stop people from getting in, with police notices up on every single door that would have an entrance to the house, letting everybody know that if anybody, it was an official Australian Police Force statement, that if anybody was caught trespassing on this property, you could be prosecuted. That's not to be confused with executed. So we were absolutely petrified, and looking into this house, we could see nothing in the living room, absolutely nothing but a single chair that was right underneath some beams. Now at this point, we all started to freak out and get really, really scared. Now me and my old particular friend, we actually stayed best friends for about 5 or 6 years, all the way throughout high school. We started very, very faintly, started to hear a very deep and very, very, very quiet dog that was barking. And almost immediately after we heard that, before we could say anything to our friends, one of our other friends had got a phone call. One of our friends was ringing us, who'd stayed down the bottom of the hill, and all he was doing was screaming and yelling and frantically panicking on the phone to tell us to run. And that was right after we were looking into this haunted house where, you know, I had goosebumps. You know, it's silly looking back at it now, but I had goosebumps all over my body. We didn't know why, but as they started to explain to it, we heard the dog getting louder and louder and louder. And then our friends finally blurted it out that the farmer had come up after us. Now this farmer sounded like, and when we got to him, we did find out that it was a big hound dog, and he actually had a rifle. I don't know if I doubt it was a shotgun. My friends used to say it was a shotgun, but I highly doubt that. It would have been a hunting rifle. We all exploded and just ran like our life depended on it. It was scary. So, of course, we had the better side of the element, running downhill, as the farmer would have had to come up and meet us uphill. And in Australia, I'm pretty sure it works just like everywhere else in the world. When you have properties that are on farms, they're separated by barbed wire fences. So we strategically had to get on the other side of the fence. But of course, everybody, all of these 13-year-old degenerate teenagers being in a massive panic, didn't decide to just calmly walk down the hill and climb under the fence. We did crazy commando rolls, cut ourselves open, got all these barbed wire cuts, and decided to get out of there as soon as possible. And it was absolutely petrifying. There was no fireworks. We don't know if there was actually any real haunted house, but it was absolutely creepy. That is a completely true story, guys. I did not make that up. I really don't know if I could if I tried. And that was something that I'm never going to forget. I just thought I'd share that with you guys. If you enjoyed it, and you want to see more of it maybe, you guys need to let me know. Please continue to show me support. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and I shall see you guys for the next episode.